Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll help the channel out and it'll get you more videos like this. Let's get to it. And our first one comes from General Apartment 237. Am I the beehole for refusing to bring a kid I'm in the show with to rehearsals because his parents don't want to make the drive? I'm in a production of Kinky Boots at a theater about an hour from where I live. Rehearsals start at 6:30, so I have just enough time to get from home to work, let the dog out, eat, and then I'm off to rehearsal. I was brought in a couple weeks late because a female ensemble member dropped out and a director, who I've worked with before, asked if I would step in. This is a community theater, so I'm not getting paid and I'm actually losing money because of the long drive. Did not know where the theater was when I said yes, but I committed, so whatever. For those unfamiliar, Kinky Boots has two kids in the show who portray the younger version of the leads. They are only in two songs, the opening and the finale. The week I started rehearsals, I get an email from young Charlie's dad, asking if I would drive his son to and from rehearsals the day he's called. He said the actress playing Lauren has been doing it, but she's having to miss a couple weeks of our rehearsals because she's going to /tech shows for another play. In short, Lauren told his father that I would drive his son to. Wow, she just volunteered you? Don't do that. Don't just volunteer people. His son to rehearsals without asking me beforehand if I'd be cool with it. If she had, I would have told her no, and all of this could have been avoided. The main reason is I don't particularly like kids and don't want to spend up to 2 hours driving back and forth with a 14-year-old when I would much rather listen to my music really loud and not feel the need to entertain this particularly chatty kid. Also, I have to pick him up, drop him off, change my routine to accommodate this new inconvenience. And I get it, the parents don't want to drive to the theater, drop off the kid, then come back to the theater hours to pick him up. But they made the decision to let him be in the play, so transportation is their responsibility. Also, we've never met, so why would they blindly trust me with their child? Back to the email, the dad asked if I could pick up Charlie from their home outside of downtown and then drop him off. I used this as my excuse, saying their home was out of my way in getting to the theater, and would add at least another 20 minutes to my commute, and I was already struggling to get to rehearsals on time. Which is kinda true. He responds with, he'd be happy to drop Charlie off at my house, or we can meet somewhere in between. I finally had to be somewhat honest, and say I wasn't comfortable being responsible for someone else's child, and wouldn't be driving Charlie to rehearsal. His response was very clipped, and he said, fair enough. Yesterday, I was approaching the theater, and I see a man I didn't recognize leaving it, so I smile and say hello. He didn't say anything and just stared daggers into me. Turns out that was Charlie's dad. Now I'm feeling guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty. That's not your kid. That's not your responsibility. He's the one who has a kid in the theater. He needs to be a parent and pick him up and drop him off. Just like how my parents did when we were in things, but back to it. So, am I the beehole for not helping out the parents of this kid simply because I don't want to be inconvenienced and don't want to spend a lengthy one-on-one time with a 14-year-old? Hi, OP. No, you are not the beehole. I'll tell you who the true beehole is, the dad, and Lauren for just volunteering you like that. Why would she think you'd want to watch someone's 14-year-old child? And why would these people who don't know you trust you with their 14-year-old kid? You know what I mean? That's just bad parenting. But yeah, the real person the father should be mad at, where he should direct his ire, is Lauren, because she's the one who put you in this sticky situation for no reason. Who in their right mind just volunteers someone for something like this to watch someone's kid? I don't get that. I would never do that. That's like buying someone a puppy when they didn't, when you didn't talk to them about getting them a puppy, and now you're like, hey, take care of this living thing, and you know what I mean? You got to clear that type of stuff with the person before you ask them or even volunteer them for that. So Lauren is the beehole, not you, OP. And when you gave your reasoning, don't do that. Don't make an excuse where they can counter by saying, oh, I'll just drop them off, because that just makes things worse. Just say no. Just say no. You don't owe them an explanation. Just no. And that's it. It should be done. People need to stop doing this whole dance. If you don't want to do something and you don't have to do something, just say no. That's his problem, not yours. OP, you already got to deal with wasting your money going to this thing you're not even getting paid for. So no, OP, you're not the beehole. Lauren is. Our second one comes from Hair Revolutionary 67.3. Am I the beehole for telling my brother that I wouldn't have helped him if my nephews weren't involved? This is my first time using Reddit, so I'm sorry if I'm doing it incorrectly. 15 years ago, I lost my job and was struggling to pay rent. I asked my brother if I could stay with him while I got back on my feet. His response was a blunt no, and basically told me to deal with it myself. I was devastated and ended up couch surfing with strangers. This really affected my self-esteem, but it motivated me to do better, and I had no one else to rely on. Fast forward to now, and my life has improved drastically. However, my brother's life has not. He has been jobless for a while now, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom. I didn't even know about his situation until recently. He asked me if him and his family could stay with me while he looks for a job. I agreed. I have an extra bedroom that my nephews could use, and I don't want to see them struggle. They have been staying with me for about 2 weeks now. Last night, my brother brought up how he refused to help me all those years ago, and he expressed his gratitude for my help now. He's just venting to me about how he felt, and he was trying to sympathize with him, because I can understand how he feels, especially since he has kids now. He thanked me again, and I told him it was no problem, but I also mentioned that if it weren't for my nephews, I probably wouldn't have helped him. He just laughed it off when I said that, but then he stopped laughing when he realized I wasn't laughing, and then it kinda got awkward. Good, let him know. You're better than me for helping him, because the nephew says I probably wouldn't, because I needed you, man, and then you let me go out there and sleep on strangers' couches. Prick. Sorry, back to it. Later that night, my husband told me that he believes I shouldn't have said it, and probably made him feel worse. Good, he should feel bad. He's a piece of crap about everything. I felt if I was just being truthful. I feel if my nephews weren't involved, I probably wouldn't have allowed him to stay. OP, no, you're not the beehole, and I'm glad you let him know that he's a prick for doing that to you and not having your back and not letting you stay with them for a little while. And good. He should feel bad, and he's the idiot who brought it up. He knows he did bad, so he brought it up to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." No. You don't get to just say I'm sorry after screwing me over like that. You should have been there. You should have had my back if I were, in your shoes. So OP, not the beehole. You're a saint. Your brother is a prick. Like that's all I gotta say. I would not let my blood, if I'm cool with them, you know what I mean, go out there and just sleep on couches when they can come stay with me for a while until they get on their feet. OP, not the beehole. And our final one comes from Sucky Bus. Am I the beehole for telling my boyfriend that he's not as tough as he thinks he is? So my 24-year-old boyfriend, 27-year-old male's worst habit is road rage. Specifically, he'll start following cars if someone does something to make him angry. He never does this with me in the car, and generally doesn't have any other anger issues, but it drives me crazy when he brings up that someone's done this again. The last time it happened was yesterday. I told him that he needs to stop doing that, or else he's going to end up doing it to the wrong person. Very true. He just kind of brushed me off and told me that nobody would ever dream of stepping to him. In general, he thinks he's in this kind of a delusion of grandeur, where he thinks everyone sees him as this huge tough guy who nobody would ever mess with. In reality, he's 5'8". Nobody can tell how muscular he is with his clothes on, and just doesn't have an intimidating presence. I started getting mad because I was so frustrated that he keeps putting himself in danger. We live in a big city where road rage can be extremely dangerous. I told him that nobody sees him as a big tough guy, except for him, and reminded him that he'd lost every MMA match he's ever attempted, and that the best he could hope for, if he doesn't end up getting his way, is someone calling the police on him, because he would have a hard time standing up to one large guy, much less several, along with mentioning the other obvious dangers of road rage in the USA. He blew up at me for bringing up his MMA losses and said, "So that's what you really think of me?" and left. I haven't heard from him since, and he left the apartment yesterday, and I'm getting worried. Is this my fault? No, this is not your fault, and like you said, one-on-one, he might lose if it's a big guy, but 2v1, you will lose. Even trained fighters say, don't fight multiple people and do not fight if you have to, because even if you win the fight, you might not come out clean, you know what I mean? You might have something broken. You don't want to risk a fight unless it's to protect someone or to make money. And yeah, road rage is some seriously dangerous stuff, man. When someone screws me over, yeah, I curse at them and I get mad, but I don't follow them and try to start something because, you know what I mean? Why risk it over someone's stupidity? But, you've seen those videos of road rages where people start crashing into people or start pulling weapons on them, and then someone isn't on Earth anymore, if you know what I mean. And like I said, doesn't matter how big and tough you are, multiple opponents or a weapon can drop you real quick, you know what I mean? A bullet doesn't matter how much muscle you have, a bullet will tear through it. So OP, no, you're not the beehole, and I feel bad for you and your boyfriend, because he's gonna mess up one day, and he's not gonna like what happens when he picks the wrong one. But OP, not the beehole. Thank you for making it to the end of the video with me, and can you please do what I said in the beginning, and like, comment, and subscribe. It really and truly does help the channel out, it helps it grow, and it helps to get more videos like this. Velvet out.